All right, let's get after it. So, all right, let's do this here. Perfect. So, guys, we're gonna kick off the call. This is the first call in the next wave of this focus group. You're gonna see the intention set a little different. You're gonna see the focus is a little different. Same mission, same goal, same values of where we're going. Just the way that we're rocking, the way that we're getting there, just a little different in the intentionality and really the context behind some of the information that we're going to go through. And I texted many of you guys. We had some, a conversation. I really appreciate those kind of conversations where I get to really understand where you're at and understand where you're trying to go, where your needs are, what your goals are and things like that. Where's your mindset at? And for those that aren't already aware, the call has been moved to a different time just for the sake of sustainability. Drop a two if this time works for you guys in the chat. 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time will be like the regular call time for Saturday. Please, I know a lot of you guys had texted me that this time works, but I just want to make sure we're all on the same page that this time is congruent for everyone. Perfect. Let's go. Some of you guys are like, I like that a lot more. So amazing. And cool. Okay, perfect. And then this is not a 6 week focus group. This is actually going to be a 12 week. Um, Pretty much like we're gonna be together for the next 12 weeks, focusing on this one intention I'm about to share with you guys over the next, pretty much 3 months till starting April 1st. How amazing! The 1st of April, as well as the first day of the second quarter, and we're going to go through pretty much the end of June, beginning of July, is when this will kind of come to a close. And I want to kick things off with really the why, really the mission for why we're here. And I really appreciate you guys for filling out that form. That form wasn't just another thing to send out. It wasn't another thing to have you guys do. The thing, and I want you guys to write this down for leadership. I'm reading this book called Great Leaders Ask Great Questions by John Maxwell. And this is like, I don't have a favorite book because there's just so many amazing things, but this has got to be one of the most profound books that I've read because it's getting me to think like a leader. It's getting me to really think about myself and what I'm doing to grow and also to help those around me grow. And the questions that I put in that form were very intentional, they were very purposeful, and they were yes for me because I really want to understand where you are, but they were very much for you as well to start to get to think about where you are at because we cannot get to where we want to go. We cannot become that person until we get really real, really truthful about where we currently are. And like we talked about on last night's call, the Friday night call, we can't just hide things under the rug anymore. We can't just kind of neglect things and ignore things and put things off to the side. We have to become truthful. We have to become real about it. And so those questions were designed to start to kind of uncover that, start to pull the curtain back, start to really reveal that for yourself and become, and really review that. But also give me some context of where you're at so I know how to better help. I know how to better serve. I know how to better guide and lead and direct you. And it starts with where we're at currently in the level that we're thinking. So I really appreciate your thoughtfulness and your responses and just going through that and being very intentional. But the mission, as you guys saw from that form, the mission of this focus group is to give you the perspective, give you the encouragement, give you the accountability to be, okay, a transformational leader. And I said to be a transformational leader because I don't want it to feel like, oh, it's this something that I'm going to get or I'm going to become. Like you can start to be that right now. And you have to start to like really look at yourself in that light, in that way. Alex Morton talked about it, at the event. I feel like that's been a huge conversation this past week since we left the convention in Orlando. You've got to break that level of awareness and you have to start to get to that level of understanding of who am I being right now and changing your paradigm, changing your set of beliefs, changing the way that you think about yourself and what's possible and who you can become. So that's really the mission. That's really the forefront, the reason why we're all here. And you guys had mentioned that you align with that. And I'm excited to be able to guide and take us all there. And so, really, the goal on every single call, the goal inside of our group chat that we have, it's not just, oh, let's just show up on the call once a week. Like, let's be engaged. I'm going to go through some of your guys' responses as well, so that we can have some context here. But really, the goal is to help you identify the things that hold you back. Okay, those limiting beliefs. I asked a question in there, what's a red light story that you have right now that we can work on together over these next 12 weeks? Some of you guys are going to eliminate that red light story with a green light story very quickly. And some of you, it may take a little bit longer. It really just depends on your level of awareness that you're willing to dig into and emulate and embrace and just get real with. Okay. But the goal is to really help you identify the things that are holding you back, and also implement the things that are going to move you forward, okay, in both your leadership and also your team development, okay, moving forward. And then I wanted to also share just the core values as a whole. I think being aware and recognizing what you value, what's important to you, what you stand for, what you believe in, because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. And that was something that I really started to learn this past year, especially growing in my relationship to God and getting clear on the word and really understanding what are his values, what's the word telling me, what's his will, and really getting clarity on the principles that I stand my life on, that foundation. And so really the values here are: be curious, ask questions, don't put yourself in this place where you don't step up and get the answers that you're looking for, get the answers that you need. Seek and be curious about what the next steps are. And I think you can only get to that level when you actually start to take action and you're very intentional about the action that you're taking. So that's number one: be curious, have a growth oriented demeanor, attitude, focus. Like, just be growth minded instead of, the opposite, fixed minded. Be very growth oriented in your journey. And when you show up, look for opportunities to grow. And the last thing is be purposeful. Be purposeful and intentional in your thinking. Be purposeful and intentional in your decision making. How you do anything, you guys have heard this before, how you do anything is how you do everything. And the way that you carry yourself, I'm not on here to say like I'm a mentor in any way. I have a long way to go, but I can show you how to go platinum 150. I can show you how to go platinum 600. I can show you how to go P1 and P2. I can show you how to build a team and and have retention and build relationships. And if that's what you're looking for as a starting point, I can guide you there. I can lead you there, and I want to show you that. But be very intentional about the way that you do things, because how you respond here, guys, is how your team is going to eventually respond to you. Okay. Just be very mindful about your actions and the decisions that you're making, and be purposeful in that and the way that you're showing up. So cool. I'm excited, guys. I just wanted to, that's the opener. First, like, only time I'm really going to share that on the call. Just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. I hope you guys are excited. I'm so filled with gratitude. Just being here with you guys, and you guys having that hunger and that desire to want to grow and to want to be here. It's not like I'm pulling teeth to get people on a call. Like, you actually want to be here. And it's when you guys really start to build a team and you have people that you're working with, and you can see the relationship is mutual and the hunger and the growth. It's a really, like, this is the best part. This is the most rewarding and fulfilling part about this journey, is working with people that actually want to be led, working with people that actually want to be here. So I want to give it back to you guys. I have so much love, so much gratitude, so much appreciation for y'all. So let's go. Works just today. I work so I can have camera. Okay, no worries. Appreciate you guys. And Alex said my win was posting on social media and starting some combos. Let's go. And I got to give a quick shout out. Can y'all drop some love in the chat? Mason, congrats on your baby. Super, super happy for you guys, you and Caitlin. Saw pictures. Strider, you already mentioned his name, Strider, Pax. And we're so happy that he came out amazing and beautiful and healthy. And bro, you're going to be an amazing dad. I know we had a conversation. You're already starting to feel what it feels like to be a father and all the things that come with it. So proud of you guys. And I'm sure you have just another deeper why as to why you're doing this. But yeah, guys, let's get into the call. we're going to dive in. I want to review the questions that you guys went through. And if it's okay, if you guys have the opportunity to, I know some of you guys are at work, so I appreciate y'all for being on the call. But if you have the ability to interact and engage and participate, it's going to help the energy and also the clarity for you and in leaving this call. So like I said, the form was to really better understand where you guys are at. And this is something that you guys can take home. You can write down. You can't lead somebody unless you know where they are. And that was something that they talked about this past weekend. That's something that we've been hearing from even Bob Heilig. You can't lead somebody somewhere until you understand where they are. And you've got it. That what that looks like is you're meeting them where they're at. And that was really what the purpose of the form was, is really understanding where you are so I can meet you where you are, but also be able to show you where you can go and lead you in that direction. And also be mindful too in your conversations and the people that you're talking to. Everybody wants to be led. Everybody wants a leader in their life. Everybody wants someone to lead them to the promised land. And most people don't know what that means or what that looks like. And it's our job as leaders to be able to do that. But you can't really step into a conversation and think that way until you've thought that way in your own life. That's why we always hear leadership isn't necessarily about how well you can lead others. It's how well you can lead yourself first. But when you can lead yourself first really, really well, and you have all of like those things clear, leading other people it's not necessarily will become effortless, but it would just become so natural because you will have already established that for yourself. Trust me, it's a whole different ballgame to lead other people, but it starts with you. You have to lead yourself first. Okay. So I want to talk about one of the first questions that I asked in there is, what would you guys like to see from our leaders group to help you grow into your goals? Which, by the way, I appreciate all of you guys and your transparency and what your next goal is. I know some of you guys didn't put like an actual, like you just said, I want to work towards XYZ. That's amazing. But I want to challenge you, like encourage you strongly to put an actual goal on there, whether it's on the business side, platinum 150, like what is that next goal for you? Platinum 150, platinum 600, platinum 1000. What is that next goal for yourself that you're working towards? And put it down on paper. I had gotten away from writing down my goals, and after this weekend, I realized like how important it is to actually write down your goal every single day, look at it multiple times throughout the day. And I just didn't understand why that was so important, but it's the repetition. It's the emotional impact that you are creating and connecting around the goal itself. And I wrote up last night, and then this morning, my goal, I am so happy and grateful now that I am, which I already told you guys, I'm not a platinum 2000 right now, I'm a P1000. So I wrote down, I am so happy and grateful now that I'm a platinum 2000 with a team of 70 people by June 1st, 2023. That is my goal. Okay. Yeah. So I would write down, I wrote some other stuff there, but that is my personal goal. And I would write down what your goal is and put the date on it. And I'm going to talk about goals at the end of this, but it's very important that you do that, because you have to write it, you have to see it, you have to get all of your senses involved. And Alex Morton said something really powerful this weekend too. He said, the reason why you do that is because faith comes by hearing. Saying it out loud, like hearing yourself say it out loud. Like you get better at speaking, you get better at anything by doing it repeatedly, and you get familiar with it. And so one of the ways you can do it is writing it down, but also speaking it out loud, thinking about it throughout your day, visualizing. That was something that they also talked about, visualizing. And this is if you guys know who Matt Gribby is, he works with Chris Terry and Alex Morton. He did something on his story this week. It was really powerful. And he said, how many days does it take to change your paradigm? And he said 30 days. So the reason why, myself included, maybe we have been at a certain place in our life for an X period of time, or we haven't, gotten the results that we wanted, or maybe we have, but we haven't been able to sustain it. We've lost it, is because we haven't fully changed our paradigm yet. But he said, it takes roughly 30 days to change your paradigm. And what you're doing in that time, and we're going to go over this over the next like 12 weeks, not just all on this call. But what you're doing in that time is you're getting all of your senses involved in the goal, in who you're becoming, because it's not necessarily about like, oh, I want to hit platinum 150. You're not hitting platinum 150. You're becoming that goal. Okay. All right. Anyways, we're going to get to that at the end of the call, but I wanted to start off with this, because you have to have like an actual goal that you're working towards, not something like you've got to be very clear. That's something else, like smart, measurable goals. You have to be very clear about what your goal is. It can't be this vague general thing. It's got to be very clear and specific and identifiable of like what, like where you're going, who you're becoming. Write that down. Okay. What is that goal for you next? Platinum 150. I'm going to, I'm going to help 3 people get started. I'm going to help, 2 people in my business help, get platinum 150. Like, what is that next goal based on where you're at and that next like mile marker for you? Okay. Some of you guys, I'm just going to write down, or I'm just going to share with you what some of you guys said of how we can how we like what we can do on these leaders calls, what we can do inside of the leaders group to help you grow into your goals, because that's really the ultimate goal, is not to hit it but to grow into it. I won't share names, I'll just kind of share what you guys said, but some of y'all said, relationship growing questions. I could definitely, we could definitely do that. Networking ideas, questions around that, examples, and involvement with the group. Whoever said that answer, I would love to hear as I'm talking about all of this, guys. And I'm gonna ask you guys some questions too, like to go into a little bit more detail. When like what is, I guess, when you say examples and involvement with the group, are you wanting to know of like how we can get more involved? Are you wanting to see like me show you how to get more involved? What, let me hear what you mean by that. So give me some context. When you guys said more transformational approach and perspective, love that. We're definitely going to do that. Leadership development, 100%. What helps you get people to see the vision? Okay. Yep. We can definitely do that. And that's kind of just all encompassing in everything that we talk about. Like when you know where you're going and you have clarity on your goals and like what that means to you, what that looks like to you, you have strong values and that's super clear. It's going to be so much like, I don't want to say easy as like I'm just throwing the word around, but it is going to be a lot more easy for you to cast vision to people because you're fired up, hungry, and clear on exactly where you're going. But you've got to write that down for yourself first. Like our vision here is to help you identify the things that hold you back and implement the things that help you move forward in your leadership and team development. That's the goal. That's the vision. The vision is where you're going. It's how you're getting there. The mission is the why. It's the reason why you do this. And the core values are the what, like what do we stand for? What do we live by? Okay. And we'll get into that. Example conversations in your mindset going into a call. Okay. We can definitely rock with that too. I'm going to keep all of these in my notepad here. So we can be mindful of every call. Examples of warm market and how to transition to asking to check out what we do. Okay. We're definitely going to get into that as well. And then accountability. Yep, we're going to get into that also. Really, I'll share on the end of this call an idea that I have for accountability that I think will help. But we will definitely create accountability. But also know accountability is not just one-sided. It's not like me saying, all right, guys, go do this thing. And then, hopefully cross my fingers, you guys do it. It's a mutual, like self-accountability is really the only form of accountability. I'll write that down. Self-accountability is the only form of real accountability. And you could have somebody like myself here to lead and guide and direct in certain areas to establish that accountability, but it's got to be mutual. You've got to also want that accountability as well, no matter what it looks like. Or obviously, like you guys know, I'm a person of integrity. Like I have character. I'm never gonna make somebody like feel bad about themselves. Like I'm going to call you forward. So the way that I create accountability isn't to put people down. It's to bring you up. So sometimes that comes with feedback. It comes with critique. It comes with things that are gonna probably make you feel uncomfortable, but it's going to stretch you. It's going to help you grow. Okay. So we're definitely going to dive into that inside of the group. And I think going into the next call, if you guys can come with some specific questions around what you shared for what you want to see, I'll put that in the call to action. I think that will be really helpful to kick off these calls in how we can really help you identify those areas. Okay. Another question I had for you guys, which was really powerful feedback, was what would you guys like to see to promote the growth of the team, to encourage people to engage and participate and just grow as a whole. And I love what you guys had shared. So some of you guys wrote energy, giving questions for the group to answer and call to action activities. I think that's really important. It's something that we definitely need to implement. My question to you, whoever said that, said that response. Energy, questions for the group to answer, and call to actions activity. My question for you is, what will you do to bring energy? What will you do to bring energy? The next person, more culture talks, sharing each other's values and why those are important, not even for the business, but for their personal growth. I think the Friday calls will really help with that. I do too. And I think last night's call was really powerful as well with some of the discussion that we had. My question for you, whoever shared that, is when you say culture talks and sharing those types of things, like what does that look like to you? What do you mean by more culture talks? Give an example. You don't need to type this in the chat, but I'd love for you guys to text me after or over the next day or so this weekend with your response, so I can get an idea and we can maybe have a conversation of how you can get involved with that as well. But I'd love to hear, what do you mean by more culture talks? Okay, this next one, monthly team call. Whoever shared to do a monthly team call, I would like to know what would we do on these calls that we aren't already doing on the Friday calls. Let me know. Okay. Next one, being interactive during the calls. Okay. My question for you, whoever said that, is what will you do to be interactive? Being interactive during calls. What will you do to be interactive? How can you and how will you encourage the interactive participation, things like that? Okay. Next one, more engagement in the leaders chat. Cool. My question for you is, are you willing to engage? What does that look like for you? If we want anything to begin, it starts with us. And then the last one, whoever said new blood, okay, starts with you. Let's bring in new blood. Let's go. So those questions were to encourage you. Those questions were to empower you and get you to think, okay, of how you can step into that next level of leadership, because it starts with us. It starts with us as an individual and bring it to the team. And I want to talk about, hopefully you guys are getting value from this, because this is just really the goal of today's call, is to set the pace and kind of going through the forum, not just for you guys to do it, but to really talk about it. Like, why did we share this stuff? Why do we share these answers? Like, what's really going on internally, and how can we bring that to the surface to create change? But I want to share, if it's okay, I want to actually share who said what as far as your strengths. That way, we all can identify who does what really well and be able to leverage each other's strengths, pull that gifting out of each other, and audit what God has really given us, and multiply it, and really be a good steward of what we already have. So I have on here, hopefully that's okay with you guys. It's not even anything like bad. You guys are amazing, and I love that you guys shared this. But I'm gonna start. Mason said, I'm really good at listening and relating to people. And I think you shared, I only took part of your answers on here, but I think you shared that you do this really well in person, which you do. And every time we're at events or involved with the team, like in an in-person scenario, you really are like, you always bring like the right energy and relatability to people and great conversations. And I want to challenge you to, even though we can't wait for obviously in person all the time, I want to challenge you to create that even right now on a virtual setting. How can, I know everybody has lives, and I want to talk about this at the end too with the Friday calls, because that's really where we can create that culture that we were talking about, and be able to really establish those relationships and getting people outside of their comfort zone and building those connections and really building that trust. That's really an environment where you can step into that. Just one example. So Mason, really good at listening and relating to people. Eric said, I can be a really great accountability person with everyone. And I need y'all to drop some 100s in the chat, because that is 100% true. Whoever needs like strong accountability, just get in Eric's inbox. Eric is that guy that is always in the chat. Like, if you want to see lead by example of how to engage, how to participate, how to interact, just watch what Eric does. He's always in there, and he doesn't have an ego about it. He's not thinking twice about it. He's just in there providing value, being a source of inspiration, being a source of positivity. And he's great accountability for those of you that want to increase that and just be a product of the product. So Eric, I appreciate you for sharing that as well. Caitlin said, writing down my goals and helping others figure out theirs in a way that really aligns with the future that they want to create for themselves. I'm good at encouraging others and motivating them. And I totally believe that you are. I've seen that for yourself, getting super clear on what you want and where you're going, and also being able to bring that out of other people. So maybe if anybody on the team or maybe yourself want to create that conversation or have that connection, Caitlin is your go-to for doing that. Or maybe even people on the team, you guys can see what everybody's strengths are. Introduce them to each other. Introduce them to, hey, like Eric's really great at, with accountability. Like I want to introduce you to him because he's always present. He's always showing up. He's always growing. He's always like that source of positivity or whatever. Okay. Just as an example. Alex said helping with crypto related questions and finding solutions. And that is 100% facts. Anytime we have conversations, it's never about like, you're never doom and gloom. You're never talking about like, you're never dwelling on the problem. You're never just settling in what is. Like, you're always focused on that next step, that next like vision of where we're going. And you really can help people get into that mentality. And I think leading with that, seeing you start to lead with that is going to be really powerful. And obviously crypto, you're literally always on Go Live anytime like we're not doing something together. So any of that, Alex is your girl. Okay. I see Crystal said building connections, empowering others, being obsessed with self-development and growing my mindset. 100% girl. I see that with you as well, with your, like you said, your win for the week, building those relationships, building connections. I think seeing you step more into that, not just in person, but also on a digital level. I've seen you, more inside of the group chats, sending, what you're working on, and not only sending what you work on. I want to challenge you when you send what you're doing, because I think it's amazing that you're encouraging people and you're empowering others with what you're sharing and what you're working on. Give some more context, hey, like if you're struggling with XYZ, like I just watched this session, or I'm jumping on this session right now because I want to work on XYZ, whatever it is. And then you empower people and give them context and give them reason of like, hey, like let's do this together. Like I want to grow my mindset because whatever, and give people that like context, that understanding. And I think the way that you do that is going to really help a lot of people be encouraged and be empowered and be equipped to want to step up and want to step into that. Just seeing you do that consistently. So Crystal is your girl for that. And then Moran, I see you said, I listen to people really well. You relate to them, or you find ways to help them. And I believe that I see people for who they are and make them feel that they are seen and heard. And I 100% agree with all of you guys. And I definitely see that for you as well. Being able to literally, it's funny that you said that, because that's one of the things that John Maxwell just talks about in this book, is being a great listener. You can't be a great leader until you are a great listener. And I think you listen really well. You're very not quiet and reserved in like a shy way. I think we all are in our own way, but I think you are in the sense that you're listening, like you genuinely want to understand where that person is coming from, and being able to give a very thoughtful response and relate to them, and also find ways to help them, like you said. And I think you do make people feel seen and heard, and you're very aware of your like social environment, of the like the temperature and the energy of everybody around you. And I want to continue to encourage you to step into that. Like don't feel like, just based on maybe there's more dominant energy in the room, don't let that make you feel like you can't step into that for yourself, because you still have value that you can bring to the table. You still have relatability and care and concern and a heart to serve and give. That's available. You have that opportunity right there, regardless of maybe whoever else is in the room or whatever else is going on. Always know that you have value to bring to the table. And that's speaking to all of you guys. So I wanted to just share that so you guys are all aware of what everybody else's strengths are. And also be able to leverage that, because in a business model that we have, this is all about leverage. This is all about relationships. This is all about being able to identify where people are at and how we can connect, how we can latch onto each other for the betterment and growth of the entire organization, of the entire team, and where you guys are going and who you're becoming. So I really appreciate you guys for sharing that. And I'm excited to keep that in mind to continue to call you forward in those areas where you can grow and you can develop yourself and your leadership. Okay. And then the last thing that I want to cover is the limiting belief question, which I'm going to ask you guys a question as well. I'm not going to share your names because I appreciate y'all and your transparency. But if you said whatever it is, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. So This first one, I don't feel as if I can do the things I need to do to become a better leader. Some of y'all may relate to this. Some of y'all may relate to some of this stuff on the call. So keep in mind as I go through this stuff. But this person said, I don't feel as if I can do the things I need to do to become a better leader. I know that's not true. But I know it's not true. If I actually didn't believe it, I wouldn't be getting on any leadership calls. 100%. You keep showing up because you do believe. We just need to go back to changing the paradigm, how you see yourself. You know that this is the vehicle. You know that this is where, like, this is the right place that you need to be, whether it's the feeling that you get or the transformation that you've already had, because every single person on this call has had a transformation. I talked to somebody over the weekend at the event, and they said, look, I may not, be at the rank that I want to be, or, have made the money that I wanted to make with my trading or whatever. And this individual has been in for almost the same amount of time that I've been involved. But he said, I'm no longer a drug addict. I no longer have depression. I no longer am going down that road. I no longer have those thoughts. And I said, that is the greatest transformation that you could ever have for yourself. And the money and all that stuff, like the physical part, but like side of it, the financial side of it, that will come. But there was a lot of unlearning that individual had to go through to get where they are now. And don't ever judge where you are versus where somebody else is based on what you can see, because your transformation is just as great, if not greater, because it's your story, because it's your experience, it's because of like what you've gone through and who you've become. And I just heard that, and it just like has sat with me. And I'm saying that to you right now, whoever you are who said that, you need to recognize the transformation that you've already been able to create for yourself. And that transformation isn't over. You're going to continue to grow, but we've got to change the paradigm. So my question for you is, why don't you feel that you can do the things that make a great leader? Why don't you feel that you can do the things that make a great leader? Because you said, I don't feel as if I could do the things I need to do to become a great leader, to become a better leader. You keep showing up on the calls. Why don't you feel that you can do those things to make yourself a better leader? That's my question for you. Okay. Next person says, vulnerability as a sign of weakness and that people will judge me from my past. But I know, all of you guys said, but I know it's not true. Like literally everyone I wrote, it was like, but I know it's not true. I know it's not true. Vulnerability as a sign of weakness and that people will judge me from my past. But I know it's not true. And my brain is always in flight or fight when triggers arise. I really appreciate you sharing that. I know a lot of people can relate to that as well. Vulnerability is like, if you need that validation, vulnerability is most definitely not a sign of weakness. Wanda said this over the weekend, or whoever it was. Whoever said it, it was like, I cannot be, sometimes like we need to hide like our mistakes or our flaws or our quote unquote weaknesses because of judgment or what we think other people will think of us or how people will see us if they know certain things about us or whatever. And I love what she said. She said, I cannot be perfect. I cannot be perfect. I have to have weaknesses, because if I am perfect, you will no longer look at me as someone, as a mentor or someone that can help you or someone that can lead you. You will look at me as an idol. And I was like, wow, that's so powerful, because that's what happens sometimes in this space and just in life in general. Like look at how many people idolize things and people and whatever it is. It is good. It says in the Bible, I don't know the scripture exactly, but to bask in your weaknesses. Like that's where God can really get all of his glory. And that is such an incredible place for you to start, is right there. I've been trying to open up more and more as well. I think I'm a pretty open, transparent person sometimes, with just like where I'm at and just being real with y'all. You can tell me if I'm not. I'd love to know, but just understand is what I'm trying to get at is, let people judge, man. Like everybody's going to judge. But the right people will see like your intention, as long as your heart is pure and you know like why you're doing what you're doing. Like you're going to make an impact on the one person or the 10 people or the eventual 100 plus, whatever it is. And so just check your heart, just know your intentions, and know that the room will see that that you're really there as a person of integrity, and you have character, and you want to help, and you want to really see people grow. So my question for you is, What are those triggers? You said your brain is always in fight or flight when triggers arise. Identify those triggers. What are those triggers for you? Okay. All right. Next one. Let's kind of roll through this. I'm trying to give you guys some in depth here. But next person said self doubt when it comes to failing. I know I can do it, but I question myself even though I know what to do. And this is huge. I think so many people struggle with this self doubt, worry. I don't know if I can actually do this thing. Is this really possible? And, you have to really think about like where we came from, right? Like we were literally programmed to, like, with a set of beliefs of lack and worry and scarcity and fear. And that's where all of our root beliefs and, reasons for why we do what we do come from. So, like, just first recognize that that's where a lot of like the things that we do, our decisions are like stemming from, and recognize that that's not who you really are. That's what you were told. That's what you were taught. That's how you were brought up. But that's not who you have made to be. That's not who God has called you to become, and who you do, and for you to step into. And so, just I want to give you these. I actually have two questions for you. What would make you question yourself? What does that look like? Okay. What would make you question yourself? You said, I question myself even though I know what to do. Why are you questioning yourself? What would make you question yourself? And number two is, what does failure look like for you? Because when you can get clear and identify, just get real, just see the truth. What does failure look like for you? We've talked about this before. What does success look like for you? But I want you to really identify, what does failure look like? Because a lot of times, like, it's the starting that stops people. It's literally just doing it that stops most people, because of the thoughts that we're having that's holding us captive in our own mind. What's the worst thing that would happen if you just like kept doing what you're doing? What does failure look like for you? Really get clear, really identify that. All right, next person. You said your limiting belief that I won't be able to really hold a team for long and keep people around the fire. That's huge. That's huge. And I actually have three questions. Yeah, three questions. And I can type these in the chat because this might be a lot. Let me see. Okay, so this is a really important question, or this is a really important thing that you said, because a lot of people do feel this way. They think that, like, they almost like they get to a point where they have a team, they lose a team. They get to a point where they have a team, then they lose a team. And it's like, why do I keep putting myself out there and doing this if that's literally like what's going to happen every time? And this all goes back to changing your paradigm. It's all in how you see yourself, in how you view like you as a person and your leadership capabilities. And we're gonna get into that over the next 12 weeks. But that I won't be able to really hold a team for long and keep people around the fire. So my question for you, I'm gonna type this in the chat for you. Okay, whoever this is. Why do you feel that way? Just write it down. What do you think keeps people around the fire to begin with? What do you think keeps people around the fire to begin with? Why would people follow you in the first place? Why would people follow you and want to be led by you? Why would people follow you and want to be led by you? Those questions will really help you get clear on what you just said, that you won't be able to hold a team for very long. One, you got to change your self-talk. You got to change the way that you see yourself. You got to change your self-image, because you can keep people around the fire. You can hold a team, but it's like we want to change like our self-talk and how we view that, and start with those questions, because I think it's going to help you identify like where you're at and who you need to become, because it's not about like I want to do that. You got to become that person that actually can. Because once, like, there's a difference in like getting to a goal and becoming the goal. And we want to start there. I hope those questions should help you identify that for yourself. Okay. All right. Next person. Scared if I put myself out there, I won't be taken serious. Scared if I put myself out there, I won't be taken serious. Man, you guys are like getting after it. I'm gonna put your questions in the chat too, because I have like three. Okay. This is super important. This is a really important thing that you said, because I think a lot of people, like I just said, the starting stops most people. Just starting stops most people. Scared if I put myself out there, I won't be taken serious. Okay, my question for you is, why wouldn't you be taken seriously? What would really happen if you put yourself out there? What would really happen? Write that down. What are all the things that would happen? and then realize that they're a lot scarier in your mind than they are on paper. Okay. It's kind of like trading where you don't remember the trade that you took on January 22nd. Nancy said this on her call, on her Go Live call. She said, you don't remember the trade that you took on January 22nd. You don't remember all the things that you went through. You can't figure out your life in your head. You have to write it down. You have to get super clear. So what would really happen if you put yourself out there? And what does it mean to put yourself, and what does it mean to put yourself out there? What does that look like? Okay. Why wouldn't you be taken seriously? Go through those questions. I think those will help. And then the last person, I used to say money wasn't important compared to things that you can't buy, but it is. So I've switched my mind about it. Okay. So it seems like you've already overcome that limiting story, that limiting belief. I would challenge you to get real, because we all have limiting beliefs about something. It's why we are at the next level that we want to get to. I would challenge you to get clear and real about a limiting belief that you have right now, associated in this case to the business side, just because of what we're doing, these calls, the purpose. And just like, don't try to solve it right away. Just identify what is that limiting belief. So my question for you is, how does what you just shared, I used to say money wasn't important compared to things that you can't buy, but it is. So I've switched my mind about it. My question for you is, one, to identify another limiting belief that you haven't yet maybe figured out for yourself, because it's what is kind of keeping you here. But I want you to ask yourself, how does this, what you shared, because you shared it for a reason, how does this hold you back from being a transformational leader? Everybody on this call wants to be a transformational leader. How does that, what you shared, hold you back from being a transformational leader? Okay. I really hope that breakdown was helpful, and not only for yourself, but to see what other people might have said. This call, we're going to wrap up here in just a moment. I really like the whole reason why I wanted to do today's call is just kind of set the pace, open things up a little bit, go through what you guys had shared with me, lay it out on the table, get kind of real, get truthful, share some things that maybe make you uncomfortable a little bit, make you, feel stretched a little bit this morning. And get us going in the right direction. And I want to kind of close out the call the next couple minutes. Give me like 5 minutes. We're going to close out the call. But I want to show you where you're going. Okay. As we're going through these next 12 weeks together, intimately close in this group on these calls, I want you to start to really go through some of those questions that I shared with you. Okay. But by the 1st of July, because that's when this will kind of come to a close, by the 1st of July, I want you to start to visualize this for yourself. I want you to start to talk about this, like make this your language, make this your narrative and your story that you tell about yourself. By the 1st of July, if you live out these values, being curious, asking those questions, being growth minded, being growth oriented, showing up in that way, having that attitude, that excellence of spirit, okay, being purposeful in your thinking and your decision making. If you live out these values and you take, most importantly, ownership, you get truthful, okay, of where you are right now to where you want to be, not to what you're going to get, but where you want to be, okay, then you will become a transformational leader. By the 1st of July, like, you're going to start to see that transformation already happen. It's probably already taking place as you're like listening to this call. You're starting to like shift the way that you think. We want higher quality, higher level of thoughts. But by the 1st of July, you will be a transformational leader. Like, your entire embodiment as an individual, you will be that transformational leader that you're seeking. Okay, that is going to make a difference. That's going to be able to help people to really grow and to think differently. And also, you'll be the CEO of your business and your life. Alex Martin, whoever said it, your life will change when you stop making this a hobby and you take this profession seriously. Like, you actually make this your career. Okay, you make this your life. Like, this is Brandon Boyd said, this is my identity. Like, this is a way of, like, this is a lifestyle. This is a way of being. You will be a transformational leader, and you will be the CEO of your business and your life. You'll take ownership of that. Okay. Those are 2 things by the 1st of July that you can stand strong on. If you live out these values and you take ownership of where you're at right now, you will see the fruits of that in the next 12 weeks. Okay. And then the other part of it is like the actual like doing, like the daily habits, the healthy habits, the growth filled habits. And they talk about this all the time. The 3 ways that we do anything to like create that impact, create the income, and create the results that we want is you'll be implementing, most importantly, the DMOs, the daily method of operations, which are prospecting, presenting, and promoting. Okay, let me see if I'm going to share my screen just for a second so you guys can see this, because I want you to be able to, I want you to be able to see. Let me show you this real quick. All right, sorry, 1 second here. All right, I would screenshot this, I'd write this down. These are the things that they talk about all the time that we've got to get really good at. And I know it may seem like a lot writing this on here, but it's not. It's literally like when you do it, you can do it like in a segmented period of time. A lot of this is like kind of, I don't want to say little stuff, but it just doesn't take very long to do. Okay. So prospecting, what does that look like? You're starting new conversations every day. You're following up. You're putting out content. How do you start? Like, how can you start new conversations? You put out content and people are attracted to the things that you're saying, the things that you're putting out there. Those are daily methods of operations. Okay. Presenting, you're sharing the tools, or maybe, you're running calls, you're running a meetup. We had a call on Thursday. Shout out Caitlin, asked her to open. She said, yes, I'm ready. She opened the call. She crushed it. How do you get better at doing that? You practice, but also you show up and you watch other people. But I know we're not, it wouldn't be duplicatable if we all did our own call every single day. So we can share tools. Okay. We can leverage the calls that we already have in the system that Mike has created and established for ourselves. But we also, at the same time, we can share tools. Okay. Presenting. And then the last one is promoting. We're inviting, we're engaging and participating, and we're engaging and participating on calls and meetups. So you take a screenshot of this, you look at how you can implement this in your day-to-day, you can realize that this doesn't take very long. This doesn't take very long either. You're on a go live, send a screenshot in the chat. Type why you're on there. Type who it is that you're watching. Type what little one piece of nugget value that you got from it. Like, be that person, be that leader. You want to see it on your team, it starts with you. You want to have a team, it starts with you. Okay. But these are the 3 things. And by the end of July, I'm not saying you need to wait till July 1st because you're going to become that person. You're going to be able, like, you will see yourself doing these DMOs every day, every day, every day, every day. And I have a little accountability that I think will help with that. Oh, my computer's going to die. Okay. And then this last part here, guys, and we're wrap up the call. I'm going to type these in the chat for you. What does a transformational leader do? These are questions that you can ask yourself. What does a transformational leader do? How does a transformational leader think? What does a transformational leader believe? These are questions, not just these are nice, these sound great. These are questions for you to start to change your self-talk. These are questions to help you. This is why this book is like so powerful. These are questions that are going to help you change your paradigm. They're going to help you change the way that you see yourself as a leader, as a person of value, as somebody that can really come in here and make a difference and make an impact. Okay. What does a transformational leader do? How does a transformational leader think? What does a transformational leader believe? And you may not have all the answers. It's okay. But I want you to start writing it down because probably to an extent what that looks like. Alex Morton said, the way to create the success that you're looking for, okay, is to be consistent and disciplined in the right things, in the small things, in those daily methods of operations for a sustained period of time. What are those things? We just went over them. The prospecting, the presenting, the promoting, broke it down for you. You've got to be prospecting every day. Like, you can't just go these next 12 weeks and say that you prospected 10 times over the next, 120 days. Like, not going to work, 90 days, whatever it is. Okay. It's not going to work. You've got to change your paradigm, and you can't keep saying, I'm not consistent, I'm not disciplined. I'm falling off, I'm frustrated with myself because I'm not doing the work. We're not doing the work. We're not doing what we said we're going to do long after the feeling has left us because we haven't changed the way that we think about ourselves. We haven't changed our belief system yet. starts there. And these questions that I'm asking you, those questions that I went through on your limiting beliefs, on your strengths, and all of that is going to start to help you get into that frame of mind. But it starts with faith comes by hearing. It comes by seeing. You have to see yourself write it down. You have to hear yourself speak it out loud. Yes, speak it out loud. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm a Platinum 2000 with a team of 70 by June 1st, 2023. You have to hear yourself say it out loud over and over again. Spaced repetition. Get involved with all of your five senses. Have that emotional impact. Understand that it takes 30 days to change your paradigm. Okay, coming literally straight from Bob Proctor. Over the next 90 days, of 90 days, we're gonna run this. We're gonna shake up some things. Okay. So the last couple things I want to say, I said at the beginning, you got to identify that goal. Don't make it general. Don't make it vague. You have to be clear. You have to be specific. It has to be measurable. Give yourself a deadline, whatever it is. And I want you to understand, write this down if you're taking notes. You are not hitting the goal, you're becoming the goal. So stop thinking that when you set these goals of Platinum 150, it's super intimidating. It's not. You're not hitting the goal, you're becoming the goal. And that gives you a lot more ownership and control and accountability in the process, because you're not trying to attain the goal with, like, you're not trying, I gotta get it. No, like, you're becoming that person. And you become that person by the way that you talk to yourself, by the way that you see yourself. Ask yourself questions. Why don't you think that you've gone Platinum 150? Why don't you think you've gone Platinum 600? Why don't you think you've gone Platinum 1000? Like, no, like I really want you to ask yourself that question. Why do you think you haven't? And you're going to have a list of things as to why, and you're going to realize that those things actually really aren't holding you back. You just have to change the way that you talk to yourself. Why do you think you are where you are right now? Write it out, get super clear, because we can't change anything that we're not identifying, that we're not getting clear on, that we're not getting truthful on. Okay, what is your goal? And most importantly, who do you have to become to hit your goal? I'm going to give you a really great analogy, a really great example. We're going to wrap up the call, I promise, by the top of the hour. Have you ever noticed that if you set your alarm to get up at a new time, that you tend to struggle to keep consistent at waking up at that time? Maybe it's, 5 a.m. that you're wanting to set your alarm, and the first, few days, maybe even the first week or so, like, you're hitting it, you're on it, okay? Because you're excited, you have that energy, you're focused. But what happens when that motivation passes? What happens when, life actually hits, okay? You start to struggle to hit it every time. Why? Because you're trying to hit the goal of getting up at 5 a.m. instead of becoming the goal. I can tell you so many times how many times I've tried to wake up at a certain time and I've just, like, failed. Like, I've literally just, like, snooze alarm, like, don't wake up at all, because I've been trying to hit that goal instead of becoming the goal. This is how we can change it. What does a person that wakes up at 5 a.m. believe? What does that person believe? What does a person that wakes up at 5 a.m., how do they think? How do they think about life? How do they view themselves? How do they see things? Okay, getting up at 5 a.m. won't get easier, but you will get better, because now it's who you are. You weren't just trying to get something, you were trying to become it. You were becoming that person. So you be it. I don't work out because I'm trying to, yes, I may have a goal to increase muscle mass or whatever, or lose weight or whatever it is, but I'm working out because I want to be healthy. I want to be healthy. I'm showing up to these leadership calls. I'm doing my personal development because I want to be a transformational leader. There's a difference. We're becoming that person. We're not hitting the goal. Okay. So leaving this call, guys, can you guys do me a huge favor? A huge favor. I want to give you a wow experience. Okay. I know Bob Heilig said that, but I really do. Can you guys text me the day and the year that you got started in the academy? Can you do that for me? Can you send me after this call the day, the date, the year, everything that you got started in the academy? Please send me that. And then for accountability, I'm going to type a call to action in the chat after this call is over. But I want to get your guys' feedback real quick, because I think this will help. We've done this many times, but I think we have a different mindset going about it. And hey, this only will work if we're all, like, committed. And at the end of the day, it's for you. I'm already doing it, but it's for you. For accountability, let's send a screenshot in the group chat. Caitlin did this to me yesterday, and it inspired me to say, all right, we should all do this. Every day, send a screenshot. Crystal, I know you made the paper, which I think is incredible. If you're tracking and you need to, take note and just, be organized of your conversations, send a screenshot of the actual conversations. Okay. I'll give you an example of mine today, or if you know what I'm talking about, just send in the chat. Every day, send a screenshot in the group of your 5 conversations that you did for the day. 5. Maybe some of you are doing more, but 5 minimum. Okay. Everybody can do 5. They talked about at the event. Everybody can do 5. This is accountability. You really want to see yourself grow? Do this, embody this. Okay. So guys, that is the call right at the top of the hour. I knew it. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I hope this call gave you value, gave you the perspective that you needed, gave you the fire. Maybe you needed to rekindle that. I don't know if you really needed that after leaving the event, but I'm excited for these next few weeks together, and really just locking in and coming with that purpose, being curious, asking the right questions, being growth focused, and just remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. Have an incredible Saturday, and we'll talk with y'all later. Peace.